if you were a kid in the late 70s and the early 80s, guaranteed you would have seen this. Puff the Magic Dragon. Now we all know that song, right? Like the song by Peter, Paul, and Mary. Now, is that song about weed? Well, the quick answer is no, of course it's not. It's just a song about life, about growing old and letting go of your youth and getting on in life. That's what it's supposed to be about. The song originally came out in 1962, I think. Even back then, people were like, well, you know, Puff the Magic Dragon, like, you know, they see it as a metaphor for marijuana. And it even mentions there's a character in the song whose name is Jackie Paper, as in, like, rolling papers. Love that rascal Puff. Yeah, you could draw a lot of parallels to it, but it's not. It's not supposed to be a drug reference at all. But I think over the years, people, you know, they've looked at it and they've kind of got blown way out of proportion, and kind of, I guess, really made the song even more notorious and more controversial, which made it more popular. But Puff the Magic Dragon is a song that's been around since the early 60s, and then, you know, the late 70s came around and they made an animated television special of that one particular song. Now, of course, you can't stretch one song into a huge feature-length movie, but what you can do, and what they did do, is make it into like a short half-hour time slot cartoon featuring Puff the Magic Dragon, as portrayed by Burgess Meredith. And, you know, plays out the little story of the song using the character of Jackie Paper. Yeah, and they pad it out with a few other songs that kind of, like, they weave together with the main song and the main theme. Actually performed by Peter Yarrow of Peter, Paul, and Mary in this animated special. And so the music's quality. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the song, but it is what it is. I remember from when I was a kid, and you still hear it on the radio once in a while. So how's the cartoon? Meh, it's okay. It's also not meant to be any kind of a reference to marijuana in any way, even though there are some, you know, Puff takes his kid on a magical journey to Fantasyland or Honolulu or wherever the heck he's from. And, yeah, there's some, like, trippy stuff that happens. It's not extreme, and it's not meant to be, I mean, it's not like the Beatles, Yellow Submarine, or anything like that. It's meant to be a warm-hearted kind of kids' entertainment with some fun and inspirational songs. Animation-wise, it's not really even as good as, like, Saturday morning cartoons that were around at the time. But the music is quality. Burgess Meredith is awesome. Love this guy. By the way, Burgess Meredith, I could do a whole video on that guy. Some of his most popular work includes, of course, the Penguin from the Batman 60s TV show. I always loved that guy. You know, just probably my favorite Batman villain in that show. Also, of course, I vividly remember him from one of my favorite movies from the 80s, Clash of the Titans. He played the wise old sage guy that helped Perseus to, you know, fulfill his quest. And of course, he was Mickey in Rocky. You know, you gotta love him in that. You're a tomato. You could have been a contender. Then, of course, another one of my favorites of his was, remember a couple of movies called Grumpy Old Men and Grumpier Old Men, starring Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau, and Burgess Meredith plays one of their fathers, and in this, he's like 90 years old, and he's like just the dirtiest, most perverted old man, and he just goes around town like saying dirty stuff to women, and like he's just a perv, and it's played for laughs, and it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious anyway. Yeah, so Burgess Meredith, that old perv, plays Puff the Magic Dragon in this. So he's a magic dragon. He can talk, of course, and he can use certain magical powers. He helps this kid. Now, this kid's name is Jackie Draper. He's got some problems. Very first scene in the movie, there's these three doctors, or they're supposed to be doctors or psychologists or something, speaking to the kid's parents right in front of them, and they're like, oh, you know, in our scientific opinion, we're convinced that there's nothing we can do to help your son. Basically, he doesn't talk, and he doesn't communicate with the world around him. I don't know if he was supposed to have gone through some trauma or something like that. He's just, like, afraid to face the world around him. And, so anyway, these doctors come in and they say, oh, yeah, you know, sorry, we're super professionals, and there's, unfortunately, nothing we can do to help your son. Yeah, you're fucked. See you later. So Jackie Draper is alone in his room, still not speaking, not talking, not interacting with anything. Puff the Magic Dragon walks by the window and introduces himself, and he comes in, and, in an effort to get this kid to talk and to open up and whatever, what he does is he takes a piece of construction paper and he draws a picture of the kid on the paper and cuts it out, and then he transfers the happiness or life force or soul or something of Jackie Draper into this paper cutout, thus creating Jackie Paper. So Jackie Paper goes on an adventure with Puff, who says that you need to face your fears, and you need to go out there and explore and adventure and learn that you really are a valuable person, and it's all very positive. It's, supposed to be uplifting, and, be a good person to those around you, and they'll be good to you, is, I think, the sort of message they're trying to get across here, which is good. And, some weird stuff that happens, like they go to, the kid is, like, afraid of pirates and sharks and storms at sea and that sort of thing. They get to this one island or something, and there's, like, this giant, like, kaiju-sized pirate walking around, and he's, oh, I'm a big mean pirate, and brah, and he captures them and takes them back to his island. Now, Puff the Magic Dragon says, hey, well, why don't you look through my magic smoke ring? You sure this is not about drugs? And you'll see the true version of this pirate, and you'll see his inner beauty, I guess. Yeah, so the kid looks through the magic smoke ring, and he sees that at heart, this giant pirate is really just a giant baker or a chef or whatever, and that he's a good person that really just wants to provide for other people and wants to be happy making food. So the kid talks to him and says, I bet you wouldn't be, you sure are a mean pirate, but I bet you can't bake a pie. And so the pirate's like, oh, I'll show you, I'll bake a pie. And he bakes a whole bunch of pies, and they eat them, and they're like, oh, this is the best pie I've ever had. Oh, you're the greatest cook, and blah, blah, blah. And the guy's like, suddenly changes his mind, and then, bling, magically transforms from a pirate into a chef. Hey, problem solved. Okay, so that he's not a bad guy anymore. He lets them go. And he's so happy and so thankful that they've shown him the light, and that he's going to turn his life around and whatever. Okay, that's great. Puff and Jackie are traveling in their boat, and they come across a fallen star, which falls directly into their boat, and it's just like a little star, and a cute little star with a smiley face and everything, and there's like these angry clouds above that are preventing the star from getting back up into the sky where it belongs. So yeah, Jackie again has to overcome his fear, and he has to fly this magic boat, which Puff creates wings for it. He has to fly that boat on his own back up into the sky, past the mean clouds and all the haters, and so he accomplishes that goal, and great. And then after they do that, they get back to Puff's homeland of Honolulu. Normally, Honolulu is a very happy land where there's like trees with smiley faces on them and stuff, and even the rocks are happy, and the stream and the babbling brook and blah blah blah. But when they get there, they find out that it's been taken over or kind of ruined by these little big-nosed guys, sneezers or something. And they're these little like goblin guys or whatever that they walk around and they just wreck everything, and they sneeze all over the place because they've all got colds. Okay. So yeah, they're like, oh, what are we going to do? Oh, yeah, sorry, Jackie, you should just go home and, leave me to deal with this problem. It's not your problem, and I'd rather you just go home and, deal with your own life. which is a weird turnaround for Puff the Magic Dragon. But, of course, he's trying to get Jackie to solve this problem as well. And so what the kid does is he calls up the giant chef baker guy, who brings a giant pot of chicken soup and heals all these guys for, from their colds, and they no longer have stuffy noses and sneeze on stuff, and so they're all in a good mood and they're happy and they stop wrecking Honolulu. And because, of course, chicken soup is like this magical cure for the cold. I don't think it works that way. But whatever. Kid solves the problem. Puff the Magic Dragon is happy and thankful and says, you know what, Jackie, you really are an amazing person. And, we see how you really just want to help people and you just want to be a good person. So then I guess Puff takes him back to Earth or to his home or whatever and restores him. And suddenly Jackie Draper, who of course his soul transfers from the paper back into the kid, Jackie Draper kind of like wakes up out of his catatonic state and starts speaking to his parents, and everything's all good. First I have to sing a really uplifting song before they get back to Earth, but we close out with Puff the Magic Dragon, the song, again, and the whole thing is only like 20 minutes long, 25 minutes long, I think. Yeah, it goes by pretty quick, and a bunch of stuff happens in it, and it's not bad. It's like I said, I remember this fondly from when I was a kid. This was broadcast on the evening, like an evening special. It'd be something you'd watch with the whole family after dinner or whatever. Yeah, I gotta say it's okay. It's a little wussy. Like, if you've never heard of this, you've never watched this ever before, or you don't remember this from when you were a kid, it's no point really in watching it. And as I said in the beginning, it really doesn't have anything to do with any kind of drug reference. This movie is as much about marijuana as, like, Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon is about the Wizard of Oz. So get over it. Make as many jokes as you want, because I certainly did. It's time to leave Puff alone. So overall, I guess I would give Puff the Magic Dragon a C+. C+ because it hits its target. It does what it's meant to do. It's kids' entertainment. It's geared towards 1978 kids. So, yeah, should you watch it? I don't know. Sure. And once again, it doesn't really have anything to do with weed, but nobody's saying that you can't Puff the Magic Dragon. I'm not going to be one to criticize how you enjoy movies. Speaking of movies, I hope you enjoy my little reviews here. Hopefully I can save you a little bit of time and steer you away from movies that aren't worth your time. Or I can help you find something that you always wanted to see, or maybe you didn't even know existed, but might be of interest to you. So I hope you appreciate these videos. Leave a like or a comment, and please subscribe to Andy Boy Comics and Toys for more VHS AF reviews. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a good one, everybody.